Hello and welcome to our last part of the subnetting. This is part of our networking series, and today we're looking at Class A subnetting. And we know from the design, the IP version 4, we have 4 octets, x.x.x, and for Class A, this will be network, but the rest will be hosts. So we have 8 ones here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we have 8 zeros here. 8 zeros and then 8 zeros and then 8 you have this part and this part and this part, all of them 8 zeros. So you have only 8 bits which are one of in the octet, the rest are all zeros. So you by default you have /8. Now if anything deviates from this, then that's subnetting. And here in an example, let's take one example, 10.0.0.0, and it is let's say 9. Then you see the 8 will be the first octet, so let's put it actually fully here, x, or we can just put the ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 8 zeros. Then another 8 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 8 zeros. Here 2 more. So here's 8, but this time we have 9. You would have 8 here and then a 0, a 0, a 0, and that would give you /8. But now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus another one borrowed from here. So here we have the rest are all zeros, and that gives you /9. Means this is the subnetted octet. And if it's 1 and 7 zeros, that is in decimal, it becomes 128. And for block size, we will have 256 minus 128, and that gives you 128. That means in this octet here, in this octet, you will have a block size of 128. That means how many ones do we have? N is equal to 1 because we have only 1 here, and then the rest 7 here, 8 here, 8 here, 16 plus 7. Then you have the total of n equal to 1, and then h equal to 16 plus 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So h is equal to 23. That means the number of subnets you will have will be 2 to the power of n, which is equal to the power of 1, which is equal to 2 subnets. And then a large number, which is 2 to the power of h minus 2, which is going to be 2 to the power of 3, 23 minus 2, and that's a very large number. It's a large number of hosts over here. Let's calculate. So this one is becoming 2. Let's delete that. So it is 2 million, and sorry, it is 8,388,608 minus 2, which is becoming 8,388,606. This is 8 million IP addresses, 388,606 IP addresses. These are the valid hosts. So that's a large subnet. 2 locations, one location over here and one location, or maybe 2 networks, and each one it has this amount of IP addresses, large. So it depends on your design. Sometimes you have a small number of sites or networks, and in each network you have a large population. Or maybe you have a small population, but you have multiple or large number of sites. You have a small kiosk, or maybe small shops, or maybe you have some places where you have only 2 IP addresses. So maybe you have hundreds of them, thousands of them, but in each one you have maybe 2 or 4 IP addresses. So the opposite, you have a small number of locations with large number. This is the case we have here. So let's see what we can do with this example. We know we have 2 networks, and if we built a table and we only define 2 networks here, and these 2 networks, if we give the first IP address to be network, second IP address maybe the first usable one and last usable one. So this one we call it the network address. Let's call it network address. And this is the broadcast address, the last number, the last IP address, I mean. So you have, and then maybe this is your first valid, last valid, like that. You can calculate. This is network 1, and this is network 2. Remember, this is only two subnets we have here. So the first network, this is the octet that we're going to subnet. And if you see, there are two. If you have a block of 0 to 255 or 1 to 256, if you divide it by two blocks, the first one is 1 to 8 IPs and the second one is 1 to 8 IPs. So what we have here is the first, it starts from 0, it will end at 127, and the second one will start from 1 to 8 and it will end at 255. So what we have at the moment is this octet here is starting from 10.0.0.0/9. This octet will continue until it becomes 127, and then the second one will become 128. So 10.10. And then whatever that IP, when it fills, it goes all the way to 255. That means this will continue until it reaches 255, until it reaches 255, 255, 255, and this is 10. That means you're starting from 10.0.0.0, but this will start from 0 all the way to 255. I mean this one all the way. But when it completes, then it will move to this octet, and this octet moves from 0 to 1. Then this starts again from 0 all the way to 255 until this becomes 2, 3, 4, 5. It reaches up to a certain point when this one becomes 255. That's the last octet. And the third octet becomes 255, and this one is 0, 0 all the way to 127. So if we started with 0, it will continue until it reaches 127, but the 10 didn't change. That's the network. So you can see what's changing is actually the third octet, but these have to complete from 0 all the way to 255 for this to change. For the right hand side will start from 0 all the way to 255 until it fills this second digit, which continues until it fully completes. Then this becomes from 0 to 1. So instead of class B, where it was changing only 2 octets, now it's changing 3 octets. For class C, it was only changing 1 octet, as we said, but now here we have 3. Then the next octet, the next subnet, we have the 10, which didn't change, but 127 will start from 128. Then of course 0 will be the starting point. Then you will have this 0 on here will become 1 all the way to 255 until the second digit becomes 1, until it continues. Every time the right hand side becomes 255, this changes 1 digit until it reaches 255 here and 255 here. Then only the 128 becomes 129 until it continues and it reaches 255, where the last one, they all completed 255, 255, 255, but we can't move beyond that, so we stop at 10. This is the broadcast of the second octet. Then if I ask you what's the first usable one, you can just say 10.0.0.1 for network 1, and the first usable one for the second network is 10.128.0.1. The second usable will be 10.128.0.2 until they reach. But what's the last one? Last usable one is going to be 10. From here, of course, it will complete 255, 255, but this will become 254. The moment you add 1, there's no number behind that, so it completes. And the same goes here, just 1 digit before that, 10.127.255.254. And that's all for the first example. I'll give you another example of class A. Thank you for your time and see you in the next video.